Developer relations at Near. Open Sourcery in context. The Near developer relations team, also known as DevRel, is one of the most talented teams at Near. On a mission to recruit the developers, entrepreneurs, projects, and teams that will build the future of the open web, the DevRel team interfaces across events, forums, enterprises, and communities to find the next application to launch on Near and the next team of developers to continue building out the protocol. In this context, DevRel is one of the most important teams at Near in relation to the future growth and development of the ecosystem. This brief overview provides an outline of, number one, what exactly DevRel does and why that matters, as well as, number two, how they are attempting to crowdsource development on Near as open sorcerers. First subheading, Developer Relations, Who and How. Developer Relations at Near is a star team of key players. Team lead Peter DiPaolo, head of Developer Relations, and technical lead Matt Lockyer, the creator of ERC998 NFT standard, technical content from Molly Anderson, outreach and engagement by Danny Osario, jack of all trades Josh Ford, and developer onboarding and experience by Dorian Crutcher. Together, these individuals work to bring the next generation of Web3 developers and entrepreneurs onto Near protocol. The specific focus of the DevRel team is the fast-growing market of software developers looking to break into the Web3 space. Or, as Matt Lockyer puts it, focusing on developer experience and speaking with developers to build on Near, open quote, "We focus a lot on developer experience, which we think will lead to good user experience. If you don't have to worry about your back end, your database or your contract stuff, you can probably focus a lot more on your product. So we really want to help that next million, the next 100 million people get into crypto and get access to what is going on because it's really important." End of quote. In terms of the actual scope of the activities, the DevRel team is working with a larger Near team to meet the goal of bringing 2,500 developers onto the protocol by the end of the year. Matt added the following about these goals, open quote, "We have very ambitious goals, but also relatively realistic goals. We want to bring applications to the main network, and we do that by basically going to events like ETH Denver, to making a bunch of fun example repos and videos and content that go along with that, as Dorian is doing with blockheads. We bring people in that are kind of creating that buzz and that awareness. From our community, we will bring you in and we will find you grants. We will encourage you to submit and we will help to kind of create and support that momentum." End quote. As the quote above explains, DevRel interfaces between different possible users on the protocol with different content forms, repositories, videos, technical content, personal project development, team outreach, and engagement with existing projects on other protocols, to name a few. This notably is also the subject of the open source engagement DevRel is planning to foster in the coming months, known under the title of Open Sorcerers, and explained in more detail below. The final area of engagement that the DevRel team engages with goes above and beyond outreach. Developer and project relations is all about setting up new projects, applications, and fixes in the Near ecosystem for long-term sustainable development. That starts with funding through the Near Grants program, the Open Web Collective, as well as the emerging network of DAOs within the Near ecosystem. Open quote, "What are my values as the technical lead of the DevRel team? My values are basically to make people crypto rich. And I want to make people crypto rich. But there's a lot of subtext. I can't help people unless they want to help themselves. So unless you find out about Near, find out about what we're up to, Like join our Discord, join our Telegram groups, go to gov.near.org and make a post and say, I want to build this crazy thing, or you make a grant submission. I want to start this app or this project, this business. Unless you do that, we cannot help you. I want to make people crypto rich, but I can't do it if I don't know how serious you are, how committed you are, or how passionate you are. End quote. Developers, entrepreneurs, and existing projects can get in touch with the Near DevRel team by posting on the governance forum, jumping into Telegram, or reaching out directly to Matt or Peter at matt@near.org and peter@near.org. Near is an open source protocol. That means that unlike traditional software company where businesses like business development and developer engagement is built between a centralized entity and a group of individuals, the Near DevRel team has the capacity to harness the power of the Near community to create positive network effects and feedback loops in growing the developer community on Near. This is what Sourcery is all about. Quoting Peter DiPaolo, open quote, ideally, our growing community of apprentices will support developers building on Near, while recruiting and training others who might have powers. End quote. In short, the Near DevRel team is starting to open source their engagement so that the larger Near community of developers and users can help grow the ecosystem by recruiting developers and also earn rewards in the process. Some of the listed activities include writing documentation, writing issues in code libraries, writing PRs to the code libraries, dev chat support, presenting workshops, supporting hackathons, educating new members of the dev community, campaigns. These activities ultimately align with larger goals of the Open Sourcery project. Priority number 1, increase the number of successful apps running on mainnet. Priority number 2, increase the number of successful developers deploying and improving their apps on testnet. Priority number 3, support the continued maintenance of the material that will allow devs to self-serve and be successful. In light of the current state of Near's development, the Near DevRel team is at the very beginning of its journey to expand the Near ecosystem, onboarding developers to the protocol and jumpstart application development. Among other reasons to start building on Near, the easy setup, account structure, and familiar programming languages make development straightforward and painless. If you are interested in building the future of the open web and a world in line with mission of Near, a world where people have control of their money, data, and governance, then consider joining the open sorcerers as an apprentice and earning some Near along the way. End of article.